The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie Broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by Cigna. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
Hello and good morning to all of our friends listening in on this fabulous Florida Tuesday morning, and it happens to be the first Tuesday of 2021. Yay, we made it through 2020. I'm your host, Gary Owen.
And I'm your co-host, Tom Bouvier.
And we are bringing you live the Quality of Life radio show here in Stuart, Florida. And we're streaming live on Facebook. So if you happen to be one of the few people on the planet Earth that doesn't have Facebook, what? And for the rest of you that do have Facebook, go to the Quality of Life radio show and you can tune in live. We're also streaming live on WSTUtv.com. And of course, those of you that are listening on the Treasure Coast on WSTU 1450 AM, America's Heritage Station, as well as WPSL 1590 AM. Welcome. And Tom, why are we here in the studio?
Gary, like every Tuesday for the last 6 months, we're here to bring relevant content to our listeners, information that will really help people. We're here to support and showcase local business people, who will be introduced here in a moment. And we're here to provide education and information about insurance products and services so people can live the stress-free life that they deserve.
Well, speaking of relevant content, yes, I was really excited to have Stephen Evie Clausen join us this morning, but we're minus half. I don't, is it the better half? Or
yeah, it's the better half. You're missing. You're going to have to put up with me.
So we're glad to have Steve with us, Colorado Pawn and Jewelry, and we'll get him coming on here in just a moment on the first part of the show. And the second part of our show, Tom and I are going to share our knowledge. We have a little bit of knowledge. I think, Tom.
We try.
We try. We do the best we can.
We got a little education.
And we present information about important insurance solutions, pitfalls to avoid, transparency, and good old-fashioned straight talk that I guarantee you will enhance and improve your quality of life. Tom, it's our mission every single day
to simplify insurance planning so that you can live the stress-free life that you deserve.
Fantastic. And
who came up with that?
I wonder who came up with that.
Good quote. Good motto.
I love it.
I love it.
That was years ago. I come up with that years and years ago. So before we bring Steve up to the microphone, oh, he is already at the microphone. I want to give a shout out because I know that there's a lady in Hope Sound who just moved from Pennsylvania, my home state, the Keystone State. And moved to Hope Sound, Florida. She called about some Medicare questions. So I want to give a shout out to Ernestine. Good morning, Ernestine. Thanks for reaching out to us. She Googled the best Medicare agency in the country, and we popped up number one, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, we should have.
We didn't. But we appreciate the opportunity to talk to Miss Ernestine. Thank you. All right, Steve is with us from Colorado Pawn and Jewelry, and I happened to for a Christmas present went to their location on Colorado. I'm sorry,
Canner Highway.
Canner
Highway, and bought a nice gift for Kathy, and she was very excited to have received that beautiful gift. So you've got some awesome things in your store, and I think people have this misconception of what a pawn and jewelry store is all about. So Steve, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into what you do.
Well, great, Gary. It's fun to be on this show. I always like to talk about the business because, we do feel like it's a little misunderstood. A lot of people have the conception that, hey, I just don't go into pawn shops. It's just not part of my life. But once you've been into a pawn shop and you understand what we have and just the good deals, I mean, you're getting sometimes name brand items, Cartier and Rolex, for half to a third of retail. That's the thing with a pawn shop. It's we call it a pawn store. We take the shop off, and that's part of Evie's plan and her input. Because a shop kind of construes that, there may be grease towels or just, junks laying around. And we like to be a store, a jewelry store. We focus on jewelry loans and buying jewelry. So, the piece that you got for your wife was, I can't even remember what she got. Diamond pendant necklace. Yeah.
Right.
And if you went to Jared's or to the mall, you're going to pay, usually twice to 3 times what you pay, in our shop. And we refinish everything. We have a jeweler on site, so we work with local jeweler, and we do have a jeweler on site too, because, just the tools, it takes a lot of tools to do some jobs. And then we have a watch person on there that's very well educated with watches. He can basically take apart a watch and rebuild it. So we do provide a lot of services. The main thing though that a pawn store does is we do loans. Pawn is a loan. So in the old times they had the 3 balls on the door, and that means that you did loans. Well, that's where the pawn store, pawn shop industry came from. So what happens is, a lot of people need money, and in the U.S. of A, we tend to live at this standard. And we have this budget. And so we overspend. So when we overspend and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I got to pay the FPL light bill. What do? Well, if you bought that PS5, you can bring that PS5 in and say, hey, Steve, I paid $600 for this thing. All I need is $250 to pay my light bill. Can you do that for me? We look at it, test it, make sure it works. If the value is more than than what you're going to loan, then we'll do it for you. So we loan you, let's say we loan you $250. There's a service charge, and it's a 30-day loan. So there's a service charge. We charge a percentage on that, and we charge 20%. So on that $250 loan, it'd be $50. So you can pick up your PS5 for $300 on today's the 5th. So by the 5th of February.
So is there Steve, is there a maximum amount that you would loan out?
No, it's that's where I say it's very misconstrued. I have business owners that have come into my business and say, hey, Steve, I'm embarrassed, but I'm waiting for a check and I got to make my payroll. I need $12,000. Can you help me? Yes. You've got the collateral, so if he's got a Daytona Rolex, or, maybe have a 10-carat diamond necklace or something, we'll look at it. And if the value's there, then we'll loan you, the $12,000 or whatever you need. Most of our loans are lower amounts. Usually, our average loan is probably between $80 to $120. Most of our loans are the worker that comes in and needs gas money, needs cigarette money, or needs lunch money. They'll come in and bring in their drill, says, hey, I just need $30 so I can get down to West Palm Beach to work. And on $30, we charge you $6, so $36 to pick up your drill once you got your paycheck. So it's a way of making ends meet when we don't budget correctly. It's the other thing we do is we buy things, so if you have stuff that you haven't used for a while, which, my wife, you can just go into her jewelry box, and there's stuff in there that she probably hasn't worn for 20 years. Well, you can bring that stuff in. We'll go through it with you, and we'll check out, see what's silver, what's gold, diamonds, and then we'll give you a value and we'll give you a price. We'll say, hey, look, you sell us this stuff, we'll give you, $3,000. If if not, and at least what's good, and you can categorize it and keep it.
That's really fantastic.
Give it to your kids. Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of people that are cleaning. Spring cleaning is coming.
Yes.
And a lot of people just throw stuff away and don't realize the value of what they're throwing away.
Gary, I have people come in with stuff from Goodwill, and they say, hey, Steve, can you check this out? We look at it and put it on the scale. Yeah. You want $500? Oh my God. I paid $10 for it. And it's a 14-karat gold chain.
Wow.
It happens. It's just crazy.
The old saying is true. One man's junk is another man's treasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
How true that is. True that, Tom.
True that. Yes, sir.
So what makes you unique? I mean, Colorado Pond and Jewelry's been around a long time, and tell us when you opened and what
been
makes you
around.
unique.
It's been around since 1981. The original owner opened it in 1981 in downtown Stewart, right before Confusion Circle. That's why it's called Colorado Pond, because it was born on Colorado Avenue in downtown Stewart. And then he moved to Canner, where there was a gas station there.
Yep.
That used to be a gas station, and then
Yep.
7-Eleven probably opened up and closed that station up,
Mm-hmm.
and so he bought that gas station, redid the ground, and did all that, and it's been there, I think, since like 1989 or something like that. It's been there for quite a while, and we've kept the name. And then we purchased the business from Tom, the previous owner, in 2010. And so we've had it now for 11 years, and we opened up Port St. Lucie in 2012. We had a lot of customers coming in from Port St. Lucie say, "Oh, we love you. We come all the way over here because we trust you." And so we ended up opening one closer to our Port St. Lucie clientele, and it does well. They love it there.
That's great.
So, yeah, and that one's on Port St. Lucie Boulevard and Veterans Parkway, Memorial, Westmoreland, right in front of the Publix. Very busy intersection where the Walgreens is and the Seacoast Bank. Well, we're in the shopping center called the Fountain Shop.
So you're doing so well, Steve and Evie. By the way, is Evie listening to us this morning?
She better be. I'm sure she is.
Well,
Look,
we'll give a shout out to Miss Evie this morning, and we sure do miss you. Would rather have you here this morning, Evie, than
wow. Thanks, Gary.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, she is a lot better looking. Yeah, thanks.
So when is your third location? Where's that going to happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure she'll let me open up a third location.
And what
I'm not sure.
And what makes you so unique compared to your competition? If you even have competition.
There's several things. One of the things we don't do guns, which a lot of guys are disappointed with that, but we don't do guns. We wanted to be in a situation where families feel comfortable walking in. I don't want guns walking in. Guns walking in make a lot of people feel uncomfortable, including myself, because I got a business and I don't want to have people walking in with guns.
Sure.
We don't do car audio. Car audio is kind of a business that we haven't gotten into. But the biggest thing is just the service. Our mentality, I've been in the service industry since I left college, and my mentality is I'm here to help you. If I can make some money off you, great. If I can't, then hopefully I'll send you in a direction where you'll get the answer to what you're looking for. So a lot of people come in and they say, well, that's not enough money. Then we'll tell you where you might be able to go and get more money. Whether it's down in West Palm Beach, because, some people will walk in with a 2 or 3 carat diamond. We'll go through it and we'll tell them what the value is, and then we'll tell them what they're offering. They'll go like, wow, so it's worth $60,000 and you're going to give me $15,000? Yep. Well, but if you want more, West Palm Beach or some high-end jewelers down there that may or should be able to give you more money because they have a higher clientele. I don't have people that walk into my store and, can afford a $20,000, $30,000 diamond, every day.
Right.
So an investment like that is not something that normally I would do.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, our first break, and we're going to come back. We've got a couple more questions for Steve minus Evie, and you are listening to the Quality of Life radio show on WSTU 1450 and WPSL 1590 AM. We'll be right back. Don't you dare touch that dial. Welcome back to the Quality of Life Radio Show. This is Gary Owen, president of Owen Insurance Group. And yes, we do cater and focus on our small business community and help showcase their business. But also we like to showcase, every once in a while, Tom, we like to showcase our business. And we are a local agency. I've been here for 34 years on the Treasure Coast. And we're located just north of the Roosevelt Bridge, right behind the famous
Key West Diner.
What a great
It
place
is.
and great location.
Great food.
So if you're looking for any type of health, life, Medicare, disability insurance, and things of that nature, health insurance, we do it all. And we are happy to have Steve minus Evie Clausen in our studio this morning. But this is a great information about what Steve does with Colorado Pawn and Jewelry. And, I asked you, I think earlier, maybe you didn't hear me or you didn't want to tell me, but tell us where you're from. How long you've been in Florida? You've got a great last name. It's a Polish name, right?
Clausen, Dutch, German, Russian. The K came from Russia. Yeah. My ancestries are from Europe, but my dad and mom were missionaries. So I grew up in South America. I grew up in Colombia.
Wow,
So
interesting.
I was 3 months old when I moved to Colombia, so I speak Spanish fluently, which is great for my business. I have a lot of Guatemalans, a lot of Mexicans, and a lot of Hispanics, Colombians that come in and shop with us or do business with us. So it's kind of fun because they walk in and this gringo's there. They go, okay, hey, ¿qué vamos a hacer con este? They start talking, and I'm obviously know what they're talking. And then all of a sudden,
are they talking smack?
No, they're talking about, how shall we approach him? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Or shall we tell him this? And then all of a sudden, I start talking Spanish. They go, oh my gosh, this guy speaks Spanish. But so I grew up in South America, and then ended up coming to the U.S. when I was 16. Went to California, and then ended up in Kansas. And in Kansas, I went to college.
Wow.
And I ended up working for Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut headquarters was in Wichita, Kansas. And so I ended up working for them. And that's what got me here to Florida was I got a business. I had a business degree, and I wanted to use my Spanish cultural knowledge. So I knew Pizza Hut had international business. So I learned how to make pizzas and got a job with PepsiCo, which ran the Pizza Hut International, and they flew me and down to Fort Lauderdale. I moved to Fort Lauderdale, and then
and how old were you at that time?
30, no, probably about 29.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah. And so I worked with Pizza Hut for 19 years. So I bled red pizza sauce, not blood.
Interesting.
And I was a pizza man, but the business has changed. They spun off the business from PepsiCo and Foreign Yums Company, and so with all those changes, I didn't like some of the things that happened. And so I left the company and was looking for work, and all of a sudden, I didn't want to move from Miami. We were living in Miami, and my son was a senior in high school and didn't really want to move. And Pizza Hut wanted me to go to Oregon. So I hear about a gentleman that owns 80 pawn shops in Florida, and he's from Hutchinson, Kansas.
80. And
I'm like, wow, that's where I was from. And so I met with the guy, and the rest is history. That's how I got into this pawn business. And if you would have told me I'd work in a pawn store, I would have probably said no, thank you. I'd been down to Miami to the Dome down there in Cutler Ridge, and you walk in, it's dark and gloomy, a pile of tools in that corner, and don't really feel comfortable. Guy, guns all over the walls. I'm like, cool, bye. not where I want to be. Now, he had a vision of having nice looking pawn shops that were bright and inviting, that somebody could come in with their family and not feel, like they were going to get robbed or whatever. We have PS4s, PlayStations, all kinds of stuff. Headphones, Bose radios, Bose systems, anything of value.
That's a pretty good story. From
Yeah.
pizza to pawns, it's such a pie in the
Pizza
sky.
to pawns.
It's a
Yeah,
place to
pie
go
in
to
the sky.
shop, not just to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You
absolutely.
can just
That's very
to
cool.
see. I mean, we got like right now in my store, I have a signed canvas with Mike Tyson, the boxer. Mike Tyson, the nice guy that bites ears.
Yeah.
And then Daryl Strawberry, and Dwight Gooden. And they're just playing around, but it's all originally signed. It has this, you'd never know what you're going to find. There's a 10 karat. I have a 10 karat diamond bracelet right now, 40 stones, 10 carats. So they're about a quarter carat each, and they're BS quality stones, GF color. They're beautiful. 14 karat. And then, like coins, we've really gotten into coins. We have, Carson City Morgan, and peace dollars, gold coins, and graded. We'll send them off to get graded if they're in good condition. And then we have bullion too. If you want to invest, a lot of, parents, have bought their kids for Christmas, gold coin or a silver bullion just for an investment. So they understand.
Do you have a signed football by Dan Marino?
Dan who? No, sir. But do you know who's going to be the champion for the college bowl?
Who?
I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Oh, gee whiz.
I have no idea.
Alabama, and I do have a
Mike-
a sign.
Mike Bourbon.
Mike Bourbon, who's our field manager in Tampa, he's
Alabama.
yeah, he loves his Alabama.
Yeah. And I do have a signed ball.
Last year, LSU.
His coach.
Yeah.
LSU.
See,
Oh.
Mike, Tom is he's still hanging on to last year's win.
We can all have memories.
That's funny. So for those listeners out there and those who are watching live, how do they reach you?
They can go online at coloradojewelry.com and see our website, or they can call us or text us. Our phone number for the Stewart location is 772-283-3660. For the Port St. Lucie, it's 772-335-1896. Both those phones, if you're you can text too. You can text us on those phones, and you can send a picture. You can shoot a picture of my watch. Hey, you take this watch, if you do that, we like to have more, hey, it's a tag here, and it's this model, it's an Aqua Racer or whatever. And then, you got a nice watch. Looks pretty nice. He's taking pictures of it.
Yeah, I found it somewhere.
Yeah.
I found it at a pawn
Wait a minute,
shop.
I thought you said that was your Christmas gift.
It was a wonderful gift from my friend and hero, Mr. Gary Owen.
All right. So, and for those of you who are listening, make sure that, we always tout how important it is to do business with a local business. And definitely Steve and Evie Clausen will help you and their expertise and other employees. In fact, when I walked in there before Christmas, your two gals helped me out tremendously, and they went above and beyond. So kudos to you, Steve, and to your organization.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, we
appreciate it.
do have a great team. Both teams are awesome. I'm very proud of our teams, and they're there to serve our customers and take care of you. So.
Yep, we appreciate it. We're going to move to the second part of our show, so hang tight, because we're going to include you in some of the stuff. But obviously, every week we like to talk about what's going on in the world. There's two subjects that we talk about, and the one thing, Tom is going to like this, because Tom drinks anything. So you would probably do as well. Squirrel beer, ant gin, and poop wine are served up in a disgusting food museum's new exhibit. Tom, do you feel like taking a little trip to a museum?
I love museums. I'm not sure how much excitement I'll get over that one.
So very interesting. Gin brewed with ants. And then there's poop wine, whale testicle beer flavored with the smoked dung of Icelandic sheep. This beverage collection sounds like a menu at the world's worst happy hour, but it's actually part of a new exhibit.
In Scotland?
Nope.
No.
at the museum in Sweden. Evan 9 is like he's googling like
that high.
When's my next flight? To
that
Sweden?
high mountain air does something to people.
I don't know how high Sweden is, but it's close to the North Pole, so they're probably frozen the brain cells up there. The museum is known for its peculiar culinary displays, such as maggot cheese from Sardinia, Icelandic fermented shark flesh, and Peruvian frog smoothies. Yum yum. For the new exhibit, we have found the strangest, most interesting, and challenging alcohol types from the world. So anyway, and then they have a highlighted Scottish beer. This is interesting. Me loving Scotland. The Scottish beer is the strongest beer in the world with a staggering 55% ABV, more than one, some higher than Scotch, for goodness sakes. And because beer is averaging what, 4 to 5% ABV, and this is 55% ABV beer. So anyway, that was the first article I found I thought was interesting.
I'm only drinking a 6-pack tonight, babe.
Sir, I only had one beer.
Yeah, I promise you, Ossifer.
And then this was a very interesting. This is what happens when people have too much time in their hands due to the pandemic. Man files lawsuit over Hawaiian rolls not being made in Hawaii. Are you kidding me? A New York
City.
Could you imagine this? A New York man filed a class action lawsuit against the makers of King's Hawaiian sweet rolls, alleging the company misled him into believing the California manufactured sweet rolls are made in Hawaii. Galinsky said the packaging misled him into purchasing the product, believing that the rolls to be made in Hawaii. The lawsuit states the company is the leading seller of Hawaiian rolls and essentially invented this category of food, and cites incidents of the company taking legal action against other manufacturers for using the phrase Hawaiian rolls in marketing. The King's Hawaiian website states the rolls were created by Robert Terra in the 1950s when he opened up Robert's Bakery in Hilo, Hawaii, and the company was renamed to King's Bakery when it later expanded to Honolulu. So anyway, those were very interesting articles that I wanted to share with our listening audience this morning. I have a ton of paper in front of me this morning. For those of you that are watching, you can see it looks like I brought my office with me. But Tom and I wanted to, I can't read my text messages because my phone is up there on top of the equipment. So I am about, 10 feet away from my iPhone, so I cannot read any text messages. So I apologize for that. But if someone needs to text me, text Tom because he has his phone next to him. We are going to be talking about this morning insurance solutions specifically related to heart attacks, cancer, stroke, kidney failure, paralysis, organ transplant, and so forth. So, Tom, this is a very, very important subject. For months and months, we've been talking about Medicare and health insurance, individual health insurance, group health insurance, and so forth. But here's a subject that I don't think many people, and due to the fact that only 5 million people in the whole country have this type of insurance, I don't think not many people are aware of this type of insurance.
I was actually not aware of this type of insurance until I became an insurance broker. Even as a licensed insurance agent, specializing in only one product, Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans, I had no idea about this. My eyes were opened. I learned about all the different types of insurance, and I currently have a policy and encourage everyone to get one as we continue to talk about
I have
Absolutely.
2 cancer policies, and cancer runs in my family, so it's important to have this type of protection because, again, it's amazing. It kind of baffles me that people spend untold thousands of dollars on their automobile insurance. A car is worth about what? Average 40 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand. They'll spend money on homeowners insurance, obviously, and a home could be worth $300, $400, $500 million. But few people want to spend the money on their health and on their life. And what price tag do you put on your life?
are
$1,000, $1 million,
Yeah.
$1 billion, but yet people aren't taking that opportunity.
right when they pay
It's amazing.
insurance on their pets, and God bless our pets. I love animals. I love
Yes.
our pets. But when they pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year for insurance on their pet, whereas their life, as you say, what value can you put on it? Our health is our greatest wealth, as we were talking 2 weeks ago,
Right.
with Miss Jackie Crichton. It's amazing how people won't invest in that. They won't invest in things that'll give them longevity and strength, and if they get a disease, that would help them recover. So that's what these policies are for.
Yeah, and you don't think about it because most people aren't educated in insurance, and we understand that. So Tom and I bring to you these insurance solutions every single week, and hopefully next week we're going to touch a little bit about on accident insurance. But here's an astounding statistic: 42% of all personal bankruptcies in the country today are as a result of a medical expense. So heart attack, stroke, cancer.
It puts people out of action. They can't earn a living.
Yes, and they say, "Oh, well, Gary, I have health insurance." Well, guess what? 78% of those people who filed bankruptcy, the 42% in the country that have filed personal bankruptcies, 78% of those people did have health insurance. So there are high deductibles that people have on their insurance. There are procedures that are being done that aren't covered by traditional insurance. Your insurance plan doesn't cover the cost of you going to MD Anderson if you get diagnosed with cancer and you want to go to the top cancer hospital in the nation in Houston, Texas. It doesn't cover the cost of flying back and forth to have that done. It doesn't pay for the cost of room and board. It doesn't pay for the cost to have to fly your family up there with you to have support you. It doesn't pay your health insurance, doesn't pay your bills, your mortgage, or your rent, or your car insurance, or your car payments, or your electric payments, or put food on the table when you have cancer. And you need to be focusing on getting better and not focusing on where you're going to find the next penny to pay those bills.
Absolutely. These plans, you pay a monthly premium for them. And when you have a diagnosis of one of these conditions, cancer, heart attack, stroke, the company will send you directly. They're not going to be paying your bills for you. They're going to send you a big lump sum check of $20,000, $40,000, $50,000. And as Gary said, it will help cover all those other items, that bills that you might keep you stressed out. Now you can focus on your recovery, and that's what it's for. It gives you peace of mind so you could focus on your recovery.
And folks, listen, you can get cancer insurance, critical illness insurance that we're talking about today for less than the cost of a tank of gas. Come on. Or a cup of coffee, or 2 gallons of milk. But we're going to share some more statistics when we come back from our second break. Very important that you stay tuned to this. This is good information. And again, you're listening to the Quality of Life Radio Show, WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM. And thanks to those of you that are watching live on Facebook and WSTUtv.com. Well, welcome back to the Quality of Life Radio Show. This is Gary Owen, your host, and we had a text message come in wanting to know, we had a question for our guest. How do you check the authenticity of a Louis Vuitton purse?
Oh boy, that's a great question. You know, we get Rolexes, Louis, and Cartiers, all kinds of different items, and then everything's different. But on the bags, we actually subscribe to a system that we can take pictures, and they'll tell us where to look. You know, on a lot of the Louis Vuittons, there's tags inside the purse. You have to know where they are because there's serial numbers and stuff. But we'll take pictures of it and then we'll send it to this company, and they'll confirm it right away. It's usually like a 10 to 20 minute process, because we have to take all these pictures of certain places on there, the handle, the everything. The clasp that they use and stuff, because there's a lot of good fakes. I mean, you know, we've had some Rolex that we've taken in that we've thought are real, and once you open them up and look at everything,
Wow,
there's some stuff in there that's not good. So,
have you ever had a Louis Vuitton watch? I mean, Louis Vuitton purse?
no, I don't wear purses, sir.
You don't.
No, yeah,
Evie.
we have some. Yeah, we have some for sale right now in the store. We have Louis Vuittons for sale. But I do have one in the back that's a very, very, very good Louis Vuitton looking, and we're not sure it's real because it wasn't certified. We tried certified, and they wouldn't certify it because there's certain things that are not right on it.
So that one's going to be sold at a very good discount.
Yeah, that's for who knows.
And you could fake out all your friends.
Yeah, there you go,
ladies.
Yeah.
So for all you boyfriends and husbands out there,
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day
coming
also
up.
is coming up. Guess what? Call Steve and Evie.
And every purse like that, Louis Vuitton, or if it's a high end purse, we'll sell it with a certificate. You know, just to make people feel comfortable, and that, you know, on our nicer jewelry, we get it appraised too. So you get an appraisal that's professionals looked at it and deemed that, you know, what it is.
Fantastic.
So,
Very good. Well,
I believe
thank you for that question.
I'm sorry. I believe you're shattering the images of a lot of people
Oh my goodness.
about
True.
porn shops.
Pawn shops.
Pawn shops. And I apologize. I'm one of those Southerners. It's hard for me to say pawn.
So we know where you're at, Tom.
Pawn.
Porn
Yeah,
shop.
thank you.
Yeah. we know.
Pawn shop. There's a pawn
Yeah.
pawn
Right.
store.
Pawn store.
Uh,
Yes.
A pawn
An
store.
upscale.
Upscale pawn store. No,
Pawn
I'm very
store.
impressed. No, I'm seriously. I'm saying
Well, you
that-
Yeah,
This
You
is
haven't
great.
been into our store
not
yet, Tom,
yet,
have you?
but he will
You
be.
need to come in.
When's Debbie's birthday?
I've been May 3rd.
All right.
Putting me on the spot. But yeah, May 3rd. I got it, man. Love you,
Debbie.
baby.
Hi, Debbie. All right. So it looks like someone's calling me. Fantastic. All right. We're going to get back to some statistics on critical insurance, cancer insurance, and so forth that you need to know. So I don't think. Let me ask our guest on the show this morning, Steve. How many people get diagnosed with cancer each year?
Diagnosed positively with cancer?
Yes.
I would say
New cases.
Gee, number of people I don't know, but I would say probably, 8% of the population. I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
How
How many millions?
Hold on. Evan, do you know? Take a guess. Tom, do you know?
Diagnosed, I would say about 1.5 million to 2 million.
Well, Tom's close. Yeah.
And
Tom's
that is
close.
a guess. I don't know.
1.8 more than 1.8 million people every single year are being diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
And it's real, man. I mean, it's amazing that when someone does get diagnosed with cancer, not only have to deal with it psychologically and mentally, but financially. And that is really a game changer for so many people when you don't have the money to go to the doctor or the oncologist or the top cancer hospital. And by the way, the 3 top cancer hospitals in the country, probably in the world today, is MD Anderson is number 1. Sloan Kettering in New York is number 2. And then Johns Hopkins is number 3. And wouldn't it be great if you had a cancer policy or a critical illness policy that if you got diagnosed with cancer, God forbid, when that day comes, you can choose to get $50,000 tax-free benefit, lump sum cash to go where you want to go. That's a game changer.
That's many people's entire yearly budget. You
Absolutely.
have a complete year to get off work, take
focus
time off, stay
yes.
focused on your recovery.
Right.
It is a game changer. Recovery is much greater when you have less stress.
And then 3 out of 10 will have a critical illness before they're 65. And here's a real alarming statistic. For those of you who are 55 and over, 78% of Americans 55 and over will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. That's a huge statistic.
That is.
So again, now that you have this knowledge, you have this information, what are you going to do about it? And I think that it's important that you listen intently, because Tom and I are going to share with you some of the different carriers that we have. Maybe less than 10 minutes left. So we're going to share with you some information about really the affordability of having this, and whether you have a stroke, where you have heart attack or cancer, end-stage renal disease, these critical illnesses that you have, kidney disease, kidney failure, paralysis, have an organ transplant. These funds can be made readily available for you to use however you want to use it. So, Tom, I know that you are working on one of the mutual companies. So tell us what you found out in your research.
Thank you, Gary. Mutual of Omaha has a cancer policy, a standalone cancer policy, where a 30-year-old individual, just themselves, for $20,000 policy, it would be $7.48 per month. Now, that's almost the price of a cup of a fancy cup of coffee at Starbucks or whatnot. Now, if you move into a couple, say they're both in their 30s, $20 a month would get you $50,000. So
$20 a month.
20,000. Yes, absolutely. Incredible. Now that's a little bit higher age. Say you're 45 and you're single, or you just want the policy on yourself for $20,000 at $17 per month, $17.40 per month, or $50,000 would be $34.20. But let's say you're in your 60. You're 60 years old.
Well, back up for a second.
Okay.
$1 a day.
$1 a day
gets you $50,000 lump sum cash benefit for $1 a day.
For a cancer policy.
I'd buy that for $1.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
And the critical illness policy, which includes all those conditions you said earlier, not only the cancer, but the heart attack, the strokes, and so on, about 11 different types of issues that would come up. Let's say you're 60 years old, you could get for $20,000, it's only $89 a month. Just a couple of dollars a day would get you $20,000 to pay for help you recover.
Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar.
Steve, question for you. Do you think more men or more women are diagnosed with cancer each year?
From my experience, I would say more women.
You are absolutely correct. In 2020, last year, 913,000 women were diagnosed with cancer, and 894,000 men were diagnosed with cancer. So the men are catching up to the women. And it's been years, the statistics have shown that 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer. And pancreatic cancer is on the rise. And for those of you who are cigarette smokers out there, you're at a 2-time double the risk of getting cancer. And even people who have you see the vaping and the smokeless tobacco, you also are at the same risk. So don't, because you think that you're safe, you are not.
I've read different articles about the vaping, not to get on people's case here, but
let's get on their case.
Let's get on. Then it's actually worse. It could potentially be worse.
I don't understand.
Depending on what the vape and the quality, and it's probably not regulated. But what about people, Gary, who say, well, cancer does not run in my family?
Oh, good question. Now, how many out there are watching us right now? We're listening on the radio and say, Gary, there's no cancer in my family. Well, that's a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. Very good question. So to you, and those of you that have that same sentiment, I will say to you that the numbers don't lie. 75% of cancer diagnosis is not related to family history. It's related to the environment. Only 25% is related to family history. So, and we hear this all the time. I mean, people come to us and say, yeah, cancer was none of my family, and I was the first person to have cancer. So remember that when you say, well, I don't really need insurance because cancer is not in my family. Well, that's just been debunked because it's not really the case. It's about the environment. And God knows, look at all the crap that's in our water, in our air that we breathe. I mean, so that's important. There's another company that has a lump sum benefit. And if you have a family, I want for those of you that are out there listening, and if you have a family and you don't think that your children are at risk of getting cancer, you need to think twice. And listen, this is not a wonderful subject, a rosy subject to talk about. And again, people don't want to really talk about and address issues of morbidity, but it's important that you consider it because this is part of financial planning in your life. So if you are a family, or let's say that you're an individual out there right now, you're an individual male, here's a company, been around for a very long time, and let's say you wanted $40,000 lump sum benefit, you're 40 years old or 44 years old, your premium is less than $1 a day, $28 a month for the male. And then if you're a female, $36 a month. So if you're a family, let's say a husband and wife, and you've got 25 kids running around, well, guess what? That same $40,000 lump sum benefit is going to cost you only $48 a month. So less than having an individual male policy and a female policy. And then your children basically are getting covered at no cost. So there are some great benefits out there for this type of insurance coverage. Cancer insurance is an option. And then also critical illness insurance. Critical illness insurance. So what's the difference, Tom, between having a standalone cancer plan versus a critical insurance plan?
Right. So, of course, the cancer policy that you could probably surmise that's just if the first diagnosis of cancer, any type of internal cancer, or if it's skin cancer, melanoma, malignant. A critical illness policy includes cancer, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, major organ transplant, blindness, paralysis, deafness, kidney failure, first ever coronary artery bypass surgery, and first ever coronary angioplasty. So critical illness obviously includes a lot of the
it's all
bad
encompassing.
boys.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole gang that you don't want to meet.
And then finally, we've got like 4 minutes left, so we'll speed this up. There's a company that has it's called Life Secure, and it has a critical illness policy available that has a reoccurrence benefit. So most of the companies that we spoke to about here this morning does not have a recurring benefit. So once you had cancer, the policy lapses and you're done. This company, if you got, let's say you had a heart attack this year and you had a $50,000 benefit, it's going to pay you $50,000 lump sum tax-free benefit. 6 months later, you got diagnosed with cancer. It pays you 50% of that $50,000. So now you just earned another $25,000 lump sum benefit. 6 months later, you got diagnosed with breast cancer. God forbid you had those three things happen to you in the last 18 months. But guess what? You're going to get paid another $25,000. So that's a great thing to have. And these policies are available and issued from ages 18 through 70, anywhere from a $5,000 benefit in increments of $5,000 up to $50,000. So cover yourself, cover your whole family. The average premium is roughly $42 a month is what we're finding. 52% of policy owners are under 50, and about 48% are over 50 that have these. And then also what's great about this company is if you have a $20,000 or less benefit, the company does not check the MIB or the prescription drug screening company. So keep that in mind. And they have a bank of money. So a lot of great information here. We could spend another hour talking about this. So if you've got questions, call us at the office. 772-210-1020 is how you reach us at Owen Insurance Group.
Or 772-210-1020.
Easy to remember. And then also for our guest, Steve Clausen of Colorado Pawn and Jewelry. Steve, how do they reach you again, sir?
Hey, reach us at Stuart at 772-283-3660. And in Port St. Lucie at 772-335-1896.
And we are the premier insurance agency on the Treasure Coast. Tom and I and our entire staff, we make it our mission to simplify insurance planning so you can enjoy the stress-free life you deserve. Next week, we have some special guests on the show. Maybe Mike Barbone, hopefully, maybe, I don't know if he'll join us. Louis on the West Coast will join us. They are my other two field managers, and maybe Kathy Prosnewski will join us in the studio, and I'm going to interview them about insurance planning with their clients, and we might talk to you a little bit about accident insurance as well. So stay tuned for that. And we thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and please share us with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. And remember, folks, stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life.